Greetings metalheads from Trinidad and Tobago and across the globe. I am Akira the Metalhead, and recently I saw a video from Georgie's Room of Rock called Who Can Carry the Metal Flag? It was also a video celebrating his 3 years on YouTube, so congratulations on that. The video was basically about how most of the legendary bands are retiring for one reason or another, and which new bands will carry on the legacy like theirs. He then goes on to list a bunch of recent bands in different subgenres of metal, so I figured why don't I do a video similar to that. So the first band I'd like to talk about, and this is for the genre of power metal, is Glory Hammer. While I do not know what influenced their style and storytelling, they sound like they were heavily inspired by Blind Guardian. The narrative for the album seems to be a cross between Marvel Comics, Norse mythology, and, in my personal opinion, their own Dungeons & Dragons campaign. The melody has all the riffs and composition you'd want from a power metal band, with elements of keyboard music to help with the narrative, and their vocals is as powerful as the one in Blind Guardian. Despite being very similar, though, they are not Blind Guardian. They make their own music and compose their own styles. They do their own thing with it. Funny enough though, I started listening to Glory Hammer first, right? I've heard like Glory Hammer since I think around 2015 or something, and then last year I just started listening to Blind Guardian, and when I was listening to one of Blind Guardian's songs, I heard a specific riff and I realized Glory Hammer also played homage to that riff in one of their songs. I wish I could remember the names of both of these songs, but that's how my mind works. I guess I'll have to listen to both of their discographies again. The second band I would like to talk about, and this time it's for the genre of thrash metal, is a band from Mumbai, India called Bloodkill. This is one band that feels like it rhymes with Creator, in the sense that the way they perform their vocals and how their melody is arranged is very similar. However, they are not a ripoff, as they make their own music, and similar to like what I said with Glory Hammer, they do their own stuff with it. Their melody is clearly heavily inspired by the San Francisco Bay Area stuff. You could hear more of like the intensity and fastness that you would expect out of like somebody who come up with this era of thrash metal. And honestly, if it's one band that I really think will carry the thrash metal banner, is literally this band, because you hardly get bands like recent thrash metal bands that has that classic Bay Area sound to it. You can also hear elements of heavy metal and groove metal riffs in the melody as well. Their vocal sounds very impactful and very powerful, and more in line with the type of vocals you would hear from Slayer and Creator. And to me, that is like the greatest thing that you could ever have in a thrash metal band that is fairly recent. And the third and final band I would like to talk about, this time for the genre of death metal, is a band called Jog for Cowboy. They were originally a deathcore band, but has since moved on to being more of a progressive deathcore band, with a melody that is a cross between brutal death metal, melodic death, and psychedelic death. They somehow managed to fuse them together in harmonic simplicity, without losing that death metal feel. The vocals themselves is straight up brutal death with elements of deathcore here and there. To me, they more feel like a cross between Nile, Emulation, and a hint of Yog. Right, so those are 3 bands that I think will carry on the metal flag into the future. I think all 3 bands are great, and if any of them pique your fancy, or if all of them pique your fancy, you should definitely check them out. Well, that's all I have for you right now. Laters.